Corrine Elliot Lawton was 30 years old when she passed away the day before her wedding was scheduled to take place. A wedding that Corrine herself didn't want to go through with. You see, Corrine was born into immense wealth and privilege, her father being a well-known Brigadier General Alexander Robert Lawton during the Confederate States Army Civil War. The legend retells the story of Corrine's passing a lot different than the way her own mother described it in her journal. It was shared amongst the people that Corrine herself had met and fell madly in love with a man who her parents didn't approve of. He was considered beneath her station in society. After they broke the news to Corrine that she wasn't going to marry the love of her life, they moved quickly to make arrangements for her to marry a wealthy man that was highly approved of in Savannah society. After Corrine met the man that she was set to marry, she told her dad that she could never love such a man. Her dad responded to her saying, "You will learn to love him, or you will learn your station." Time passed, and all their arrangements were finalized for the wedding. It was going to be the highlight of the season, and the whole town was abuzz about it. Corrine, on the other hand, was sad, heartbroken, and completely drained of any hope that she would ever get to be with the love of her life. In the final hours of Corrine's life, she became desperate and wanted to flee from her home, her family, and the impending marriage to a man that she knew she could never learn to love. Corrine ran out of the house and jumped on one of her dad's most prized horses and rode it down to the river. Feeling so lost, heartbroken, and desperate, Corrine leaped from the horse into the river and took her own life in her final act of defiance. Angry and grief-stricken, her parents had her buried outside the family plot. Then they commissioned a famous sculptor to create a statue in her image. She is depicted as sitting by a cross in a long gown with one shoulder bare. The artist made her eyes without pupils, which gives her that very sad and lost look. He also sculpted garland that looks as though it has slipped from her hand. Some people speculate that the position of her statue was a jab from her family, since she had chosen to deny her fate and take her own life. Her statue faces away from the Lawton family plot, which has a life-size statue of Jesus standing and smiling in front of Heaven's Gate. There is no mention in her mother's diary about an ill-fated love affair or any shame brought to their family in the wake of her daughter's death. The position of her monument in relation to that of her family's is probably due to the fact that her grave was relocated to Bonaventure after the death of her parents. According to her mother's diary entry, Corrine passed away January the 24th, 1877 from an illness, most likely pneumonia. She had been sick in bed for 5 or 6 days. Her family members surrounded her, though the story is most likely pure fiction. Or is it? You decide. Let me know in the comments below. What do you think?